Okay, so the time trade is this. You have this leverage. And this here, I'm going to change that color to, this is time. Okay, and you leverage time. And on either side of the spectrum, we have, this is easy, and this is hard. And the idea is that for most of what we're used to is we're looking for more leads. So if we put our energy into making it really easy on this side, we might get more leads right here. Right? We open up the funnel and all this other stuff. However it is like, oh yeah, let's get as many leads as we can. And it's really easy for people to get on the list. Right? But there's also more resistance on this side from people and less trust. What I'm talking about here, Lauren, is basically like a typical funnel thing, right? Where leads come in, get the lead magnet, and you put them through sales stuff, and that's it. On the other side, harder sales. Forget this for a second.
What do you mean by harder sales?
Okay, so here's what happens. You get more leads because it's easy to bring them in. You're bringing in anybody, but then you focus all of your time over here trying to sell people. So that's where the hard part of it is. It's easy on the front end, and you don't put any time over here. You don't put any time in doing this. You put all of your time over here, and you're trying to sell everybody. We are going to trade time somewhere. And what I'm asking is, where am I going to leverage my time? So in my opinion, and from my experience, when we don't put any time here on the front end, as you know, I love curating and having conversations, and I'll get into this in a second, right? Then it's easy for us to build a list and get thousands of people and whatever, but then we end up spending all of our time over here, which makes it hard to sell stuff. So you're not putting any time over here. For whatever reason you want to, and again, whatever I'm saying here is not a judgment call. I'm just going to reference the typical stuff. So if you're spending less time on the front end here, which may mean that you automate over here, like you have an automated funnel or something, or you got a webinar or whatever, there's no time spent over here. You're basically saying, set it and forget it. And then you're bringing people into a call, like a conversion call or something over here. And this is where you're trying to convince people. So all of your time is spent over here. And it's harder for you to sell. At least it was for me. I'm just drawing from my experience. It was easy for me to bring leads in, but then I spent more time, it went up, trying to make a sale, trying to convert people on clarity calls or whatever, in my case, right?
Yeah, so it's harder to make sales.
Yes.
And you have to work harder for the sales you do get.
Yes. And time is spent, like the same time is spent. You're just deciding where do you want to spend it. So then if you do the opposite way, okay, and you do it this way, and you have, again, time is here, and you're spending more time over here at the front end. And what happens is you will get more trust. And I'll explain this in a second. More trust. And this is the hard part. And this becomes the easy part. And what I mean by hard is that you'll also get less opt-ins over here. It's a longer conversion time, maybe. Right? And you're having conversations over here. At least this is the way that I do it, because I do that with Atlas. This is what we talk about a lot. Oops, not conversation. That's conversation. Right? Conversations. And so this is where I choose to spend my time. Over here. And that leads to an easier slope if you want to call it that, of sales. Because by the time someone gets to the sale part of it, I have easy sales. Because I have more trust, right? They trust me more when I'm having conversations at the top end and not trying to sell them. And yes, I'm spending more time over here, but I'm spending less time, if anything at all, on the back end, which is where the transactions happen. So I'm not spending time in transactions. So that's the concept of what I'm trying to say here, is that you have to choose one or the other, where you're going to spend your time. Is it on the back end trying to sell people, or is it on the front end having conversations and having them trust you so that the sales become super easy?